back to this edition of There's Nothing New Under the Sun with Auntie Nat. Lovely to have you again. If it's your first time, thank you for joining. If it's not your first time, thank you for coming back. Well, today we're going to be talking to brothers. We've looked at mummy, we looked at sister. Now it's brothers time today, all right? So I hope you are encouraged and blessed by what I have to say. If we're looking, I'm taking my script from Genesis chapter 34 and also Genesis 49, okay? So you know me, I have to give a bit of a backdrop. And we're looking at Simeon and Levi, and they are the brothers of Dinah. In one of my other videos, the videos to sister, I was talking about Dinah, who actually got kidnapped and violated when she was on her way. And then she was forced to marry the one who kidnapped her because he was absolutely besotted with her. You know, he's obsessed with her. And her father and his father arranged together that they would be married, and her brothers rescued her out of the house. And just to recap, you know, it doesn't matter what situation you're in, help can come at any point. It's never too late, all right? Just like Dinah got rescued out of the house by her brothers, there is a friend that sticks closer than a brother, which is Jesus, who can rescue you out of any situation you're in if you call upon him. So that's a slight backtrack, but I'm not digressing too much, because now we're looking at brothers, Simeon and Levi. Many of you that are watching are brothers. You've got sisters, you've got brothers, you know, you've got blended families, and in those situations the responsibility can be quite heavy. Yeah, whether you're a big brother or a younger brother, there's sometimes the onus and the responsibility can be placed on you simply because you are a male, particularly in single parent families, families where you're in extended care families, or you're in care, or you know, you're faced with responsibilities that can be quite heavy. And here we are with Simeon and Levi, who are the Dinah's brothers, and they've rescued her, yes, but what happened in a situation that there was no recompense, there was no revenge, there was no justice. Okay, because she was just forced to marry this man. He didn't face any consequences for what he did. And Simeon and Levi were angry. Yeah, they were angry, and they decided to take matters into their own hands. I know, brothers, you've been through things in your life. You've seen things happen to your family. You've seen things happen to your siblings that perhaps you didn't have any control over. Perhaps you wanted to protect them and you couldn't. Perhaps this is what you did was the only way you felt could protect them. Okay, and this is the situation that they were in. Now, bearing in mind that there was no justice for Dinah, and what they did was, just to paraphrase slightly, what they did was get the men of the city together, including the man that kidnapped their sister, told them they need to be circumcised. And once they were circumcised, they killed the whole, all of the men of the city. They killed all of them. And to get justice for their sister, they did such a terrible thing. Now, everybody must be in horror now, particularly if you don't know the story. It's like they've killed all of the men of the city for one man's sake. They didn't just kill one man, they killed all of them. And sometimes in our rage, our actions can be so extreme. And brothers, you know, when you're faced with such responsibility, when so much things have happened, the rage can be so extreme because you've got things that are built up in you that you weren't able to talk about. Perhaps you've seen things over the years that you thought there was no one to talk to, no one to help. Everything just sat on your shoulders. You didn't want to be seen as the weak one. You didn't want to be seen as the wimpy one. So you kept everything in until that day of vengeance, until that day of rage. Can I tell you that God understands that day of rage? Can I tell you that God understands your anger? Every pain, every anguish that you have felt over the years that built up, can I tell you that God understands that? People may not understand, but God understands, okay? That's why I'm sitting here for you today, my brother, because when we keep angering, they say that pain that is unresolved turns to anger. Anger that is unresolved turns to resentment. Resentment that is unresolved turns to bitterness. Where do you stand in that hierarchy, brother? Where do you stand? Do you stand misunderstood? Did you go out and do things that you thought you would never do? Perhaps it's because of the things that you've seen that you should never have seen. Perhaps it's because of the things that you've experienced that you should never have experienced. Simeon and Levi were part of a big family. There were 2 out of 12 sons of Jacob. And when they were younger, they were sent ahead, right, into a situation that was very dangerous. Now, Jacob had 2 wives and 2 servants who also gave him children. And he, just to give a little bit of a background, as I always do, just in case you don't know who's watching for the first time, and he had tricked his brother at the beginning of the story, and he had to run away for his life. And it came to pass that he had to go back. He needed to go back and make recompense, and he didn't know what his brother was going to do, because when he had to run for his life, his brother was going to kill him. But now he wants to make amends. And in this part of the story, right, Jacob sent his servants ahead with lots of concubine, and he sent lots of goods, lots of jewelry, food, everything, contraband. And he sent one set of servants ahead, then another set, and then he sent his wives and his children. The Bible says drove by drove he sent them. So if one set got ambushed and attacked, the other set behind would see and run. And then if the other set got attacked, the other set would see and run. But what if they were besieged? What if they were besieged round about? There was an ambush that hemmed them all in. Would they not all be in danger? And this is what Jacob did. Now, Simeon and Levi were part of that family that got sent. While Jacob stayed back, he sent them into danger. It was a dangerous situation because they could have all been killed. And many of you have been placed in dangerous situations in your life growing up, placed at home, domestic situations, violent situations, on the streets, violent situations where you were not protected. Nobody really thought about your welfare, and you got it into your mind that you have to protect you. You have to protect your sisters. You have to protect your family. You have to protect your mom. And sometimes it gets us into situations and pushes us into things that we thought we would never do, but just for protection, for vengeance, for help, for money, for food. The struggle is real. You find yourself doing things you thought you'd never do. Some of you, your family are ashamed of you. Some of you, your parents are ashamed of you. They don't know why you did what you did. They don't understand why you did what you did. And this is Simeon and Levi, because after they did they killed so many people, Jacob stood and he was like, why have you done this thing? They're going to come after me. They're going to kill us. You know, you can imagine the Caribbean family. You bring shame down by my family. Me can't believe so you do this. You bring police to me door. You do this. Me don't want to talk to you again. And some of you have been banished from your family. Nobody wants to talk to you. No one understands why you did what you did. And Simeon and Levi said to Jacob, but Dad, he violated our sister. There was a but and there was a because. But he violated our sister. This went unheard. It went unpunished. It went unjustified. And they stood and they said, this is the reason why we did this thing, to avenge our sister. There is a because. There's a reason. And I'm not here to condone anything you did. If you did anything against the law, if you did anything that hurt your family, I'm not here to condone. But I'm saying that God understands. He was there from the beginning. He was there when you didn't have any food. He was there when you didn't have any money. He was there when you were placed in dangerous situation and psychologically you felt, well, it's only me, myself, and I've got to protect me. I've got to protect my family. I've got to defend the ends because nobody else will. Nobody looked after me. I had to do it. And this is the result. And here I am. And if you are sitting in a prison cell today, if you're sitting ostracized from your family don't want to talk to you, you're in a prison cell, you can't get a job, or you're in a job and you did what you thought was right and the manager is not helping, or you got the sack, here we are today. Here we are today because God sees, he knows, and he understands. Will you not tell him? Will you tell him? Tell him your struggle. The struggle is real. Tell him. Tell him all about it. Tell him how you feel. Tell him you're sorry. Tell him you need his understanding. Tell him you know what you did is wrong, but you want to make a change. And will he not help you? Will he not help you? When you go to the book of Exodus, Moses' brother Aaron, he becomes a priest, and he's from the tribe of Levi. So Levi, the Levitical tribe, come from Levi. That same one that killed everyone became his lineage, his generation became priests. They don't work, they don't struggle, they don't suffer. They're taken care of by all the other tribes. They bring atonement to God on behalf of sin. If people have sinned, they bring their sin offering to the priest, the sacrifice. The priest sacrifice the offering. Yeah, they bring different animals for different sins and get atonement. Yeah. Can you not be instrumental now that you've been on the other side of the fence, now that you've done wrong, now that you've struggled and you know what it's like? Can you reach back and bring atonement? Who can you be in your generation? Who can you leave legacy to? Who will your sons and grandsons and great-grandsons be if you make a change at this point? Levi, could you be a priest? Could your grandson be a priest? I'm not talking about the literal black frock with white collar priest, you know. If you want to be one of those, that's fine. Many are called to the ministry because he calls some apostles, some pastors, teachers, prophets, evangelists. Maybe you're called to be one of those, but maybe you're called to stand and make a difference in your community, in your generation, in your house. Many of you have children. Make a change for them. Let them know they can be the best they can be and not follow your footsteps. Because how you teach them, how you treat them will make all the difference moving forward. Leave a legacy, Levi. Leave a legacy. Make a change. Jesus is here for you. Whatever you need, call upon him. He will answer. He will bring change to your life. Just tell him all about it. Repentance is for everyone. Forgiveness is here for everyone. Don't let anybody fool you. Nobody is exempt. Nobody is too far gone that God cannot reach or God cannot save or God cannot change. Tell him all about it today. Jesus is his name. Call upon him. Brothers, this was especially for you. Never too late. God understands. You've done a lot, seen a lot, but maybe God has a lot for you. You take care now. Until next time, there's nothing new under the sun. Thank you for listening. Take care.